Welcome to another beautiful episode of the program This Day in History. My name is Lara. Right here on Fleet TV, we bring you event all the way back from history. So our focus for today is going to be on the 22nd of February. On this date in 2010, Abdullahi Adamu, the former governor of Nasarawa State, was arrested for allegedly embezzling government money meant for public projects. Adamu was arrested by the Economic and Financial Crime Commission (EFCC) for allegedly embezzling $100 million. Wow, that's huge. EFCC's head of media and publicity at the time, Mr. Femi Babafemi, said Adamu was arrested over fraudulent award of contracts, mostly on capital projects. During his 8 years rule as governor of the state, he said the former governor would be arraigned in court after his interrogation. All of this happened way back in history, 2010 in Nigeria. Moving on, also on this day in 2012, the federal government renewed oil licenses, which allowed U.S. energy giant oil company ExxonMobil to operate three big fields that will produce about 500,000 barrels of crude oil a day for 20 years. Now, this particular one, the next one is going to be a long read, so I need you to pay attention to the storyline. This day in history, February 22, El Chapo. In Nigeria, I'm sure we'll call it Capo, but the pronunciation is Chapo. El Chapo. The If we do not have the H, the CH, let's say it's CAPO, then we can say Capo, but the spelling is CHAPO, so it's El Chapo. El Chapo, the world most wanted drug Kingpin, he's captured in Mexico. El Chapo, the world most wanted drug, was captured in Mexico on February 22, 2014. One of the world's most wanted criminal, head of Sinaloa Cartel, the world's biggest drug trafficking organization. He was arrested in a joint U.S.-Mexican operation in Mazatlan, Mexico, after outrunning law enforcement for more than a decade. Guzman has been the target of an international hunt since 2001, and when he escaped from the Mexican prison where he was serving a 20-year sentence during his year on the lam, Guzman elusiveness, um, in Nacoridos, Mexican. He escaped, and while in such places as Chicago, where his cartel supplied the majority of his narcotics sold in the city, he was declared public enemy number one. Now, this El Chapo was born into poverty in the 1950s in the western Mexico state of Sinaloa. Now, Guzman dropped out of school in the third year. I think he has two names. He's been called El Chapo and he's been called Guzman. So I could use the word El Chapo or Guzman as I read on the story. Now, he became involved in the drug trade as a young man, and by the late 1980s, he had begun a mass power of his own as a trafficker. In 1993, rival drug trafficker tried to murder Guzman at the Mexican airport, but instead they killed a Roman Catholic cardinal whom they mistook for Guzman along with six other people. Soon after, Guzman was arrested in Guatemala, then returned to Mexico where he was convicted and sentenced to 20 years behind bars for drug trafficking, bribery, and conspiracy. While locked up in the prison, in a high security prison in the Mexican state of Jalisco, Guzman paid off the staff and continued to run his criminal enterprise from behind the bar. This person seemed to be a hardened criminal. Then in January 2001, he escaped the facility. Some accounts claim that Guzman was wheeled out in a laundry cart, while other sources suggest prison officials simply let him walk out. Somehow, he shall find his way out of the prison. He must be an hardened criminal. Now, in the ensuing years, Guzman hid out in the mountain of Sinaloa and other parts of Mexico and used violence, bribery, and a large network of informants to help him remain a fugitive from justice. He would be periodically dine out in public. He would send his gunman first into a fantasy restaurant ahead of him to confiscate the phone of the other patrons and then returning the devices and paying for everyone's meal after he has finished eating. He's being careful when he moves around. That's the extent to which he's being careful. All the while, he continued to expand his drug trafficking empire, which grew into the biggest supplier of illegal narcotic in America. The US government offered a $5 million reward for information leading to Guzman's arrest. The break that ultimately led to Guzman's capture came on February 20, 2014, when law enforcement agents traced a signal from a BlackBerry belonging to one of the Guzman's bodyguards to Sinaloa resort city of Mazatlan. It's a really long story. I'll try to wrap it up as soon as I can. Now, the following night, a group of Mexican Marine, along with a small assemblage of agents from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, Department of Homeland Security, and the U.S. Marshal, gathered in Mazatlan, where they had traced the BlackBerry signal to a building called the Hotel Miramar. Now, in the early hours of February 22, the Marines found Guzman's armed bodyguard protecting the entrance to one of the apartments at the Miramar. Quickly realizing he was outnumbered, the guard surrendered and the Marines stormed the apartment. Now, inside, they found Guzman, his wife, and the young twin daughter, and a personal chef and nanny. Living a good life. The drug lord ran into a bathroom only to give up moments later. No shots were fired during his arrest, and at the time Guzman was apprehended, the Sinaloa cartel was believed to be operating in some 50 countries. In the United States, where Guzman has been named in multiple indictments, Attorney General Eric Holder called the drug lord and capture him landmark achievement and said the criminal activity Guzman allegedly directed contributed to the death and destruction of millions of lives across the globe through drug addiction, violence, and corruption. Now let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. Now, Guzman would not stay incarcerated for very long. On July 11, 2015, he escaped again using a tunnel that led from the prison shower, the only place where cameras couldn't be seen, to tell you he's an hardened criminal, to a construction site about a mile away. El Chapo used a ladder to get down the tunnel, which was approximately 30 feet underground. I only see this in movie. I never believed someone in real life could actually perpetrate this. 30 feet underground tunnel. He then hustled down the less than 6 foot tall and 30-inch wide tunnel and disappeared within 25 minutes of last being spotted entering the bathroom by security cameras. After a 6 month manhunt, Guzman was finally captured again in 2016. And after a lengthy court battle, he was extradited to the United States to face 17 charges indictment. On February To cut the long story short, on July 17, he was sentenced to life imprisonment. I've only seen this in movie. It's quite shocking, you know. Now we're moving. February 22, 1732 is said to be George Washington birthday. So George Washington was born in the on this day in history in 732 in Westmoreland County, Virginia. He's the first six children of Augustine and Mary Ball Washington. Augustine had three additional children from his first marriage, and initially loyal British subject, Washington eventually led the Continental Army in the American Revolution and became new nation first president. Now, Washington is often referred to as the father of the United States. Now, let's talk about the National Day. As sweet potatoes are one of the most important crops in the world, it only makes sense that National Cook a Sweet Potato Day has risen over the age. Now, sweet potatoes are delicious and chock full of all sorts of vitamin and minerals. Your body needs to stay healthy, and it's high time we stopped looking at them as just an addition to our Thanksgiving dinner. Sweet potatoes comes packed with a whole lot of vitamins. So please, my fellow Nigerians, since we cannot afford rice, let's stock up the house with sweet potatoes. At least that will do the magic to give us all the vitamins we need. Now, today also is a World Thinking Day. It is celebrated each year by Girls Guide and the Girl Scouts across the world on the 22nd of February. Since it was first launched, Thinking Day has become a way to support girl guiding and Girl Scouts across the globe. It allows groups of girls, guide and scouts to get to know and connect with others within the girl guiding and scouting community, even if they are situated countries apart. Now, the aim of Thinking Day is to bring together young people from across the world. Nearly 150 countries chose to take part in the celebration to celebrate international fun and friendship, as well as to help raise money to focus on the year's global theme. Now, let's talk about birthdays. Celebrities born on this day is our very own. Ha! She's my namesake. Oh, I love this lady so much. Her name is Tolulope. Namesake. Tolulope Hadisua Etomi Wellington, born on the 22nd of February 1988, professionally known as Adesua Etomi. She is a Nigerian actress and an entrepreneur. In 2014, she starred at her first feature film, Knocking on Heaven's Door. She won the Best Actress in the Drama Award at 2016 African Magic Viewer Choice Award for her role in the 2015 romantic drama film. Happy, happy, happy birthday, Mrs. Wellington, also known as Adesua Etomi. Please don't forget us right here on Flip TV. We're sending you love out there. Do enjoy your day and we wish you long life and prosperity in good health. What other prayer do we say for you? Happy birthday. So we've come to another episode of the program Today in History. Join me for another beautiful episode tomorrow. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell if you're watching for the very first time. And I remain your one and only Omolara